Hi everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we see the skeletons in the corporate closet and try to put them back in. Today we're diving into a filing from C2 Blockchain Inc. And let me tell you, there's some interesting movement happening under the hood. If you love getting the real story behind company announcements and financial news, make sure you're subscribed. Also, we've got a fantastic community over on Discord to keep the conversation going about these filings, so check that link in the description below. Alright, so this is a current report, often called an 8K, and it's like a special bulletin that companies send out when something important happens. This one tells us about some recent stock sales that C2 Blockchain has made. Now, C2 Blockchain is a company involved in this exciting but sometimes confusing world of blockchain technology. Imagine them as a company trying to build things using that digital ledger technology you hear so much about. The company is incorporated in Nevada NV. It's pretty common for companies to incorporate there because of the business-friendly laws. The main story here is about the company selling its own stock. It's called equity. They did this in a way that didn't involve them selling it to everyone on the open market right away. Instead, they sold it directly to specific investors. So let's break down these sales. On August 18th, they sold over 3.3 million shares at just 3 cents a share. This brought in $100,000. These shares are called restricted because the investors can't just turn around and sell them immediately. Then on August 25th, they sold a whopping 10 million shares, but at a much lower price, just 1 cent per share, still bringing in another $100,000. This shows they're selling a lot of stock, but at a very low valuation for each share. Just a couple of days later, on August 27th, they sold another 3 million shares at 2.5 cents each for $75,000. And on September 5th, they did it again, selling another 10 million shares at 1 cent apiece for another $100,000 infusion. It's important to note that these dates are when the agreements were signed. The actual stock was issued a little later in September. They also mention that all these investors are accredited. That means they meet certain income or net worth requirements and are therefore considered sophisticated enough to invest in these types of private offerings. And each of these investors signed papers saying they are buying these shares to hold onto, not to quickly sell them on the market. The shares also have a restrictive legend. Think of that as a sticker on the stock saying it can't be easily traded. What's this money for? The company says it's for general everyday business needs and to keep the lights on, basically for general corporate purposes and working capital. Now, this next part is a bit technical, but it's how they are legally allowed to do this. They are using exemptions under the Securities Act for these sales. Essentially, they are saying these were private deals not offered to the public, which is why they didn't need to go through the full registration process with the SEC. This section is usually where you'd find detailed financial statements if the company were releasing them, but in this 8K, it mainly points to an exhibit. The big exhibit here is Exhibit 104, which is the cover page interactive data file. This is basically a data file. This is basically a data file that the SEC uses to make its filings easier to search and analyze electronically. It's more about how the information is presented to the SEC than new financial results themselves. And finally, we get to the signatures section. This is where company officers like the CEO sign off, confirming that the information in the report is accurate to the best of their knowledge. Here, Levi Jacobson, the Chief Executive Officer, has signed the report on September 12, 2025 too. So to sum it up, C2 Blockchain Inc. has been actively selling its stock to accredited investors in a series of private placements. They sold a total of over 26 million shares across 4 transactions in August and early September 2025. The prices were quite low, ranging from 1 to 3 cents per share, raising a total of $75,000. This money is earmarked for general business operations. Looking at these numbers and considering this is a blockchain company, it paints a picture. They are clearly in a fundraising phase. Selling stock at such low prices often signals that the company needs cash to operate or to fund specific projects, while raising funds is necessary for growth. Selling a large number of shares at a very low price can dilute the value of existing shares. Dilution means that each existing share represents a smaller piece of the company ownership pie. The fact that they are selling restricted shares to accredited investors suggests they are likely looking for strategic private funding rather than broadly appealing to the public markets at this moment. The key risk here is that the company is burning cash and needs continuous funding to stay afloat. If they can't secure more funding or if their blockchain projects don't gain traction quickly, these private placements might just be delaying the inevitable. On the flip side, if their technology is indeed promising and these funds allow them to reach significant milestones, then these early funding rounds could be seen as a necessary step for future growth. It's a classic startup scenario. They need money to build and they are getting it by selling ownership. The real test will be how they use this capital and whether they can generate revenue or develop a valuable product from it. From what we see here, it's a company clearly in its early stages focused on securing operational funds through equity sales. There aren't deep financial tables here to analyze the company's profitability or cash flow, but the continuous private placements tell us they are prioritizing immediate liquidity. Alright, that's our breakdown of C2 Blockchain, ENC's latest filing. What's your take on these funding activities? What do you think they signal for the company's future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this deep dive useful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more regular corporate financial expose. And don't forget to join our Discord community for more discussions and insights. Thanks for watching. See you next time.